जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Virahire Nashtaprayeshu Mantreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, The Activities of Maharaj Priyavrata, Sloka number 12. Natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava nayoga virjena manishayava naivarta dharmai paratasvatova kritam vihantum tanubhrit vibhuyat natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava nayoga vijena manishayava naivarta dharmai paratasvatova kritam vihantum tanubhrit vibhuyat natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava nayoga vijena manishayava naivarta dharmai paratasvatova kritam vihantum tanubhrit vibhuyat
natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava nayoga virjena manishayava naivarta dharmai paratasvatova kritam vihantum tanubhrit vibhuyat
natasya kaschit tapasa vidyayava nayoga viryena manishayava naivartha dharmaihi paratasvatova kritam vihantum tanubhrit vibhuyat
What do it mean? No. Never. Tasya. Is. Kaschit. Anyone. Tapasa. By austerity. Vidyaya. By education. Va. Or. Na. Never. Yoga. By power of mystic yoga. Viryena. By personal strength. Manishaya. By intelligence. Va. Or. Na. Never. Eva. Certainly. Artha. By material opulence. Dharmahi. By the power of religion. Parataha. By any external power. Swataha. By personal endeavor. Va. Or. Kritam. The order. Vihantum. To avoid. Tanubhrit. A living entity who has accepted a material body. Vibhuyat is able. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: one cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities and exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities. Nor can one use his power of religion his material opulence or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. That is not possible for any living being, from Brahma down to the ant. Purport. In the Garga Upanishad, Gargamuni says to his wife, Etasya va aksarasya prashashane gargi surya chandramasau vidhrithau tishtataha. My dear Gargi, everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the sun, the moon, and other controllers and demigods like Lord Brahma and King Indra are all under his control. An ordinary human being or animal who has accepted a material body cannot go beyond the jurisdiction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's control. A material body includes senses. However, the sense activities of so-called scientists who try to be free from God's law or the laws of nature are useless. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:14, Mama Maya Dhratyaya. It is impossible to surpass the control of the material nature, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is working behind it. Sometimes we are proud of our austerities, penances, and mystic yoga powers, but it is clearly stated herein that one cannot surpass the laws and directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either by the dint of mystic power, a scientific education, or austerities and penances. It is impossible. The word Manishaya, by intelligence, is of special significance. Priyavrata might argue that Lord Brahma was requesting him to accept family life and the responsibility for ruling a kingdom, although Narad Muni had advised him not to enter household life and be entangled in material affairs. Whom to accept would be a puzzle for Priyavrata, because both Lord Brahma and Narad Muni are authorities. Under the circumstances, the use of the word Manishaya is very appropriate, for it indicates that since both Narad Muni and Lord Brahma are authorized to give instructions, Priyavrata should neglect neither of them, but should use his intelligence to follow the advice of both. To solve such dilemmas, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a very clear conception of intelligence. He says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Palinjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. Vishayan, material affairs, should be accepted without attachment, and everything should be dovetailed with the service of the Lord. That is real intelligence, Manisha. Becoming a family man or king in the material world is not harmful if one accepts everything for Krishna's service. That necessitates clear intelligence. Mayavadi philosophers say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Nitya. This material world is false and only the absolute truth is real. However, an intelligent devotee in the line of Lord Brahma and the great sage Narada, or in other words, in the Brahma Sampradaya, does not consider this world false. That which is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be false, but using it for enjoyment is. Everything is meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Bhoktaramikra tapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme proprietor and enjoyer, and therefore everything should be dovetailed for his enjoyment and service, regardless of one's circumstance, favorable or unfavorable. One should use everything to serve the Supreme Lord. That is the perfect way to use one's intelligence. Om Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sarvana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकालिने वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So here, since yesterday's shloka, Lord Brahma has been speaking to Maharaj Priyabrata. So in yesterday's shloka, Lord Brahma is telling that don't have any preconceived notion of whether you should accept or not what I am going to speak. No, please hear what I am saying because it has been ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even myself and other great personalities like Lord Shiva, no, they cannot avoid or they cannot disobey the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here again, like Brahmaji is mentioning that one cannot overrule the order of the Supreme Lord by one's own strength or austerities, no education or mystic power, physical prowess, intellectual activities, power of religion and material opulence or any other means, either secured by himself or by the help of others. Paratasvatova, like this one, this very same thing is we used to discuss in terms of attaining the Lord. No, we cannot attain the Lord by our own powers. No, and here the same thing is mentioned about we cannot defy the instruction of the Lord or order of the Lord by our power or by the power of some external force. Right? So it is not possible. So this is very nicely categorically mentioned. So this is something we also like try to apply in our chanting process. That when we are trying to chant and trying to remember the names of the Lord, so we cannot do it by our strength. No, we cannot do it by brute force. So we have to, and either by our power or by some external power. So now we go. Somebody says like pyramid meditation is very nice. You sit under pyramid, you will get nice concentration. Still, you cannot get focus on Hare Krishna mantra because it is Krishna himself. Only when he desires, so that is when we will be able to have focus. So some external situation, some natural situation, some place in mode of goodness, it can have some effect, but we cannot force the Supreme Lord to appear, just because of any external aspects. So the Lord, he comes, he reveals himself, out of his own free will. So the same aspect, is mentioned in a little different angle. So now the order of the Supreme Lord cannot be defied by any of these external circumstances, right? So either by our power or external power. So we cannot disobey the order of the Lord. So now Prabhupada is citing this one from the Upanishad. He says that everything is under control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the sun, moon and other controllers and demigods like Lord Brahma and King Indra are all under his control. So if that is the case, that everything is under his control, so then what to speak about ordinary human beings, so who have accepted a material body, so they are completely within the jurisdiction of the Supreme Lord. So we have been given certain powers to do some things. So it may appear like we have autonomous power over our body, we have autonomous power over the intelligence that we have, but actually it is a delegated power. Just like a prisoner has the autonomous power to move around within his cell, like within his engagement, right? So that doesn't mean that he has all freedom. He has got some freedom. So just because he can exercise some freedom in some place, it doesn't mean that he has all freedom, everywhere, right? So here we see that we have certain freedom, but we are completely under the jurisdiction of the Lord. A material body includes senses, and however the sense activities of so-called scientists who try to be free from God's law or the laws of nature are useless. So this is called the less intelligent category. So now people, when Prabhupada used to say like these statements, people used to find it like, no, how do you say like less intelligent? We are learned and we are scientists and things like that. And Prabhupada used to say, no, you are less intelligent. So why they are less intelligent? They are not even able to understand. So there are different levels of philosophy that is there. So one philosophy is sinful philosophy, atheistic philosophy. So they think that this material nature is something that is there for us to exploit and manipulate, right? So that is called the material scientists. They are the lowest most, in terms of understanding of the reality, right? So the next level of understanding is the worshippers of the energy of the Lord, Shaktas. So they understand like this material nature is not something that we can manipulate. Material nature is more powerful than us, So they understand that much. So then, I forgot that progression. I think the next is Ganapatyas, and then Shaurashtras, the worshippers of sun, and then the Lord Shiva, Shaivas, and then the worshippers of Lord Vishnu. So it is like, Ganapatyas, the Ganapati, he controls a lot of the energies, material energies. So, okay, energy is not just there is some controller is there. And then the more better controller is Sun God, and then more better controller is Lord Shiva, who controls the entire material nature, and more better controller is Lord Vishnu, who controls both material and spiritual nature. Right? So in this way, so like understanding, clarity of understanding actually comes, and that's called a person who's in knowledge, he'll be able to see this thing. So material scientists are so ignorant, are so less intelligent that they cannot even understand the material nature is controlled by somebody. So they are able to do some experiment in laboratory or do some machines and do some some things with their power. They can construct city or this, what is that, the train, what it goes? Metro. Metro and stuff like that. And they think that we are able to manipulate the material nature, and one flood comes, so many things falls apart. So, Rajarajeshwari Nagar, like some cars were going and flood came, and then the car still was going but not under the control. It was under the control of the flood. So, people make so many things, but even when the material nature overpowers, they think that kuch to gadbad again, next time we will do it proper. So we will control the material nature properly. So they are so less intelligent. It is like, many of you would have played with small children. You have a toy and then you tie it with a rope, and then you drag the toy, and then the foolish child will think that the toy, kaise bhi karke move ho raha hai, I have to catch the toy. So the child grows up a little bit, then after that straight away comes to you and then beat the rope, chodo. You are only dragging the rope, I know. So, but very small children, they don't even know who is dragging the rope. They'll just simply be running behind the toy, right? So in that way, material scientists are like so much less intelligent. They don't even know who's pulling the rope actually, behind the material nature. And they're just simply trying to manipulate the material nature, right? So they are sinful and they are less intelligent, right? So this is how we see that, and Prabhupada is citing this thing also. Mama Maya Duratyaya. My material nature is, we cannot overcome the material nature of the Supreme Lord because it is Daivi Esha Gunamai. So it is divine in nature and we cannot control. Right? So the same thing applies in our process of chanting. So when the mind goes here and there and the situation is not very nice or whatever may happen, so the material nature is completely under the control of the Supreme Lord. So some very important lessons that we need to take or important things that we need to note in terms of our bhajan is that we cannot control the mind. So that is one thing. We cannot control the mind, it is raging, and maam evaya prapadyante. So we have to, whenever things go out of hand, so the thing that should come to a sincere sadhaka is that he should take prapanna, he should take shelter of the Lord. So if he tries something else at that point in time, so he is not sincerely practicing Bhakti Yoga. He is trying to control the mind by his means, or he is trying to do anything else apart from taking shelter of the Lord. So that means he doesn't know the science of Bhakti Yoga. He doesn't know how to execute Bhakti Yoga. And when the situations goes chaotic, so then also our devotional service may get affected, we get distracted. So then, like various things a devotee can take. One is that trying to solve the situation, external situation. Another is trying to blame the Supreme Lord, saying that no, why are you giving me all these things? So that means the Lord is a fallible entity. So like the Lord is not very intelligent. He doesn't know like what to give, what not to give. So like this, the Lord's position is being deprecated. So when I don't have complete confidence in the position of the Lord, so then what devotional service I can execute? So if I don't have the confidence that Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, so his birth and activities and all that he does is transcendental and it is divine and it is good for everyone. If I cannot accept that, so then I am actually deprecating the position of the Lord. So then I will not be able to do my devotional service properly. So now the only option that a devotee should have is that he should take shelter of the Lord. So any problem, take shelter of the Lord. Any good that happens, take shelter of the Lord. Anything else he does, no, he is not a devotee. He is not a sincere devotee. He is a devotee, but he doesn't know no foolish devotee. He doesn't know what needs to be done in the situation. So this is a very important thing that Mama Maya Duratteya, the material nature of the Supreme Lord, cannot be overcome by our power. So it is impossible to surpass the control of material nature, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is working behind it. It is divine in nature. And we should also see, that is why a devotee, he sees that whatever happens by the will of the Lord, he actually takes it, saying, this is by the will of the Lord, so I should not be disturbed. So maybe I have to correct myself in this one, but I should not be disturbed. So in any situation, we see, we can learn from the materialist. The materialist, you see, happiness comes, they go to the hotel and they do something nice, and distress comes, they go to they drink and things like that, and they say that why are you drinking? Because I'm in so much of distress. So they take shelter of sense gratification at every situation. So, whether happiness comes or distress comes, they take shelter of sense gratification at any situation. So the same thing, we should take inspiration from them, and we should see that happiness comes, distress comes, we should be able to take shelter of the process of devotional service, take shelter of the Lord, take shelter of the holy name. So that needs to happen. So that is when we are sincerely practicing devotional service. So if we are doing devotional service and situation becomes bad, and then we give up devotional service, that means we have not put such faith in the process actually. So in the difficulties, a sincere devotee means when difficulties come, he will do more intense devotional service. So then he is a sincere devotee. So that is why who is a sincere devotee, who is not, is tested only when difficulties come. When difficulties come, if sometimes it so happens that when difficulty comes, devotee says that I will not do this service at all, anymore. That means not very sincere. So difficulty comes means that time we should cling on to. And in fact, a sincere devotee prays, come what may. My Lord, you throw me to hell, you throw me anywhere, but don't take my service off. That is the devotee's attitude actually. So they what is that? Nanaka Prishtam, those slokas and many other slokas we can actually see the devotee is constantly praying that I don't want this, I don't want that situation. Even if you put me in the hell also, it's okay, but please keep me in service. That's something that a devotee constantly prays for. So we see that this one, when the advancement in devotional service is not there, we trade off devotional service for peace or for any other things. But when advanced devotees are there, they trade off peace and comfort for being in devotional service. Even if you send me to hell, it is okay. I want to be engaged in your service. So that is the this one. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajan, what is that? Kita Chanama Hoy, Yathatva Das, right? So even if you put me in the life of a insect, which is very, very difficult in to comprehend, what all difficulties are there. So even then, I want to be engaged in your service, right? So then sometimes we are proud of our austerities, penance and mystic yoga powers, but it is clearly stated herein that one cannot surpass the laws and directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either by the dint of mystic power a scientific education or austerities and penances. It is impossible. So in this discussion, like yesterday or day before yesterday, we had a question in the Bhagavatam class, wherein like we say that if we are attached to Krishna, so then only we can influence other people to get attached to Krishna. But then there are many materialists also, like different transcendental personalities, like who are also like influencing people, so who are also influencing people, so Asat Sangha, Asat Guru and things like that. So, they are also influencing people. They don't have any attachment to Krishna. How they are influencing? So, this is also, being charismatic is also one of the power of the Lord, right? So, being influential is also one of the power of the Lord, right? So, somebody may influence. So, if we say, okay, like people who are influential, they should be made as preachers. No, definitely we will get some output. But then we may get our desired output or not, we don't know. So whether we are influential or not, if we are attached to Krishna, definitely we will make devotees, right? So maybe one or two or tens of hundreds, like whatever it is, we will make devotees. The output will be there. Some devotee will be made. So, but then if somebody has only influence, like many gurus that we don't want to take the names and spoil our answer. So like they are there somehow or other, they have got the blessings of the influential power of the Lord, and they are able to influence people, right? So, but that is when the Lord's influential power is taken off, then they will not be able to influence these people. So it is by their past karma. So they have got that this Vashita, right? What is that? Vashita, to bring somebody under one's sway, right? So like it is one of the Ashtasiddhis actually. So like to convince somebody, like if somebody speaks, like other people will become spellbound. So like that, that is also one of the siddhis actually. So like people may get that siddhi, people may get in some small quantity and things like that, So they may be able to influence people. So but then, so we cannot, that siddhi, like if like one of the preachers training, probable ways of preachers training is that somehow or other do some tapasya and get Vashita siddhi. So that is not possible. That is not practical also to do that thing. And even if we do, so our guys may go and influence people, but after influencing what they are going to influence, we don't know. So better to train them in becoming more attached to Krishna. And because of that attachment, somebody may also get attached to Krishna. So that is like, that is a that is a proper training that we can actually give, right? And then this one about the austerities, penances, mystic yoga powers, and even in the case of knowledge and things like that. So these are all compared to the glow of a glowworm, So like it is very attractive, it actually charms people only when there is the absence of sun. When the sun is present, then automatically the glow of this glowworm actually goes down. So that is why even if these people are quite powerful, if one devotee with like who can actually manifest Krishna, who can actually present Krishna as it is, he can actually minimize all these glowworms. So now, for example, if we see, one time Bhaktivinoda Maharaj was giving us a seminar, he was mentioning that Prabhupada's presentation skills are not very great. He was like he had a very thick tone, and then like it is very different things, like he was actually making. So, and there are many so-called attractive speakers, in this one. So who doesn't have Krishna, but they are so very charming and attractive. So, but then when Prabhupada was preaching, hundreds of people are becoming devotees. And all other people, so because Prabhupada was presenting Krishna as it is, and he could able to actually overpower all these people. Many, like even in that time, like many contemporaries were there. So, but then Prabhupada actually made a huge shake in the whole time, that period of time. So now, so many people are preaching, like they are not able to make that much impact. Prabhupada's preaching was so much impactful that newspapers mein aata tha, like people are taking it very seriously, and wherever he goes, like the chief minister and prime minister, all these people would give audience to him. So like it was really happening thing at that point in time. So it is quite amazing that when we present Krishna as it is, so Krishna will overpower all these glowworms actually. So we can actually, there are different ways to actually become attractive and influential, and one is to get siddhi, another is to become attached to Krishna. So, which is the best thing? Like, we can actually choose. So, so the best thing is to have, sometimes, sometimes devotees also pray, somehow or other make me an influential preacher. And, so, like, that's all foolish actually. So we should have one pointed focus. Somehow or other I should become, very much attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is a, valid and useful prayer. Then if that is done, so the self, we can also be saved and others also can be saved. So one person becoming nice devotee, nice intense devotee, can create so much of welfare for the people around actually. So with this, this section, Prabhupada is concluding this section that by any means, whatever may be the means, either by our own power or by the help of another external source, which is supposedly very powerful, we will not be able to overpower the Lord. The Lord is very powerful, and the material nature, which is energy of the Lord, so that is also very, very powerful, and we cannot overcome. So that is a very solid point that is mentioned here. And then, Prabhupada talks about the intelligence. So Manishaya. So he mentions that intelligence should be used, like Brahma is making this point, that his instruction is that he should enter the family life because there is no proper ruler to govern. So it's a very, very important task that is there. And Narad Muni is telling that don't get entangled in the material activities. So then, like here, the aspect is, by the use of intelligence, one has to follow both the authorities. So an authorized instruction cannot be disregarded. So here both of these people are Mahajanas and both of them cannot be disregarded. So recently I was reading Mahabharata, like there it was mentioned that Ashwatthama in the end, like he was caught, and he killed all the sleeping sons of the Pandavas and then Draupadi, and because of that he was caught, he was caught by Arjuna. And then he was dragged, like Arjuna took a promise that, I will kill this guy, I will behead him, I will kill this guy like that. So and then, but then still, like whenever Bhima catches, he will finish there only. His mind works that if I go in front of this still, and if he says no, like you have to leave him, so then it will be a big problem. Better finish and take the head only. So nothing can be argued. Whenever Arjuna catches, he thinks that okay fine, Bhaiga was dying, like whatever he decides, like let's do that. So that's some little difference in the character actually. So then he was dragged, Ashwatthama was dragged by hair in front of Yudhishthir, and then seeing that, Draupadi become very, very much afflicted. She tells that, this is son of your teacher, and then I am lamenting because loss of son, and I don't want our teacher's wife to also lament like me. So don't kill him, leave him. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj also says, okay fine, you have spoken nicely, we should leave. Yudhishthira Maharaj is always ready for forgiving. And he gives whole about whole purport about forgiveness in the forest when they were there. There is no other dharma higher than forgiveness. There is no other austerity that is higher than forgiveness. He gives amazing this one. So Bhima is completely fed up actually. But then amazing thing is, how much ever fed up is, he is he will never overrule. Maybe some cases he will not bring it in front of Yudhishthir. He will finish it sideways. But then he will never overrule. An instruction is there, he will never overrule. So brought, and then Bhima is saying no, how dare you can do this? You took a promise, you kill this guy immediately. And then Krishna is also supporting, saying that you took a promise, you should kill him. And then Arjuna is confused. So Krishna is also telling, everybody is telling. And my brother is telling like this, you should forgive. And Krishna is telling that, you should kill. So both of them are, he has never overruled any of them, these two people. And both of them give two different this one. And Krishna also tells the very same thing. Now you use your intelligence. You cannot disobey that rule, and you cannot disobey this rule. So then, he says, okay fine, for a king, for a Kshatriya, disfiguring him and removing his hair and things like that, that is kind of an insult. So he just removes the jewel which is there in the Ashwatthama's head, so which is the repository of all his power, and then he disfigures him. So then Bhima says, this is nice. So okay, like no. So everybody's interests are kept alive. No, in the same way, here also we see that like Brahmaji is telling that you should rule the kingdom, and like Narad Muni is telling you should not get entangled in material activities. And Brahmaji is now telling finally, see, you should use your intelligence. No, both are authorized instructions, and you should use your intelligence to find a way to execute both of them. No, how can you be a brahmachari and a grahastha together? So, but here we see that nice point, like Srila Prabhupada is actually quoting from Rupa Goswami, the principle of intelligence. No, Prabhupada here makes it as principle of intelligence, or it is in other ways it is mentioned as the principle of renunciation. So principle of renunciation is anashaktasya vishayan. So ashakti should be developed towards the Supreme Lord. We should cultivate the attachment towards the Supreme Lord. And vishayan is the material objects. We have to develop anashaktis. We should have detachment from them. But then yatarham payunjata nirbandha krishna sambandhe. Understanding their relation with the Supreme Lord. The material elements are also related to the Supreme Lord. It is also energy of the Lord, and it should be rightfully used in the service of the Lord. So, and how it should be used? Without attachment to those things, without attachment to those material things, and understanding what is the position that they actually have, and accordingly it should be used in the service of the Lord. And that is called Yuktam Vairagya Uchyate, right? So that is called the proper Vairagya. So the opposite of this is Falgu Vairagya. So, what is the definition? Anybody remembers? Prapanchikataya buddhya, hari sambandhi na vastuna. Like mumukshubi parityaho falgu vairagyam krate. So, like this is prapanchikataya buddhya. So, with a material intelligence, which a worldly intelligence, and hari sambandhi vastuna. So like the elements that are in connection with the Lord, so this is material elements are also hari sambandhi vastu, like, and mumukshabi, parityaha. So like giving it up, saying that this is material, I will not deal with this at all. So that is called Falgu Vairagya. So why Falgu Vairagya? Falgu is a river, where it appears to be like dry, completely dry land, but if you dig a little bit, water will come. So like water is just running underneath the floor. So that is called Falgu Nadi, where it appears to be dry, but actually it has water. So in the same way, this mumukshubi parityaho, so like prapanchikataya buddhya, so the mind is filled with material consciousness, but then externally, no, I will not get engaged in all these things. So that is called Falgu Vairagya. And so rather than that, using things, whatever we like the most. So if you can actually take and offer it in the service of the Lord, so that is more purifying. If somebody is like caught up in the like material modes of nature, he can use his work and he can use the ways of his nature in the service of the Lord, and his nature gets purified. If somebody is very bold and he can fight for Krishna, he can actually organize things for Krishna. So in that way, his Kshatriya nature becomes like purified. And then if somebody is like any nature that he has got, or anything that he has got, which is very intrinsic to him. So if it is used in service of the Lord, it can become purified, rather than saying, no, I will not do this thing. So that is what is mentioned here. So like anasaktasya vishayan, without getting attached to the material things, we should use things in the service of the Lord. And what all things we can use, everything we can use, or how we should use. So here, for Priyavrata Maharaj, he is not asked to do everything possible in the material world. No. 2 instructions that are there, bona fide instructions that are there, and to execute them, he should not bring in, this is matter, this, I will not touch this, and things like that. So to execute that instruction, whatever is needed, it should be done, right? So that is very, very essential. So it is not just this, that without attachment to matter, I will use that. Whether it has been asked, whether it is needed for you, so that is also we have to see. So like based on the instruction, right? So it is not that, like, it doesn't mean that every brahmachari should get married and practice this, principle, anasaktasya vishaya. So because here there is a specific instruction for him, so he should do that. So otherwise it is not needed, right? So becoming a family man or king in the material world is not harmful if one accepts everything for Krishna's service. That necessitates clear intelligence. Mayavadi philosophers say Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So in the case of Mayavadis, no, for them it is no, they have to indulge in Brahman and they have to give up the Mithya or Maya. So, like, even if somebody instructs in this way, they will not be able to follow. No, because for them, this is not the point. Like, no, Krishna is there, and everything that is there is connected with Krishna, and we should be engaged in service of Krishna. So, this particular topic they will not be able to understand only. Like, they will say, like, this is complete material transaction. It doesn't have anything to do with the Brahman. So, right. So that is their problem. So this material world is false, and only absolute truth is real. So, however, an intelligent devotee in the line of Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, so for him, this world is not false. Why? Because the world is created by the Lord, and this world is also like part and parcel of the Lord, and it is supposed to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So now then, why we are so much afraid of this material nature? If it is connected, it's a Hari Sambandhi Vastu, and then it can be used in the service of the Lord, and that is also called as devotional service. So then, why we are so much afraid of this material things? No.
Because we don't have proper sambandha.
Mm.
Because we don't know the relationship. We are not clear with the relationship.
Yeah.
No,
Any-
strong sense gratification tendency.
A strong tendency of sense gratification. Like our vasanas are very, very strong. And the matter has a nature of inspiring sense gratification. Spirit has a nature of inspiring service, and matter has a nature of inspiring sense gratification. Right? So it is like if you see once our Bhakti Shastri teacher Anand Kaur Sundar, though he was there, like he was mentioning this particular point that in material world you have to perform sadhana, you have to struggle hard to do devotional service. But when you go to the spiritual world, you get a spiritual body. Spiritual body is conducive to render service. There to think of matter, you have to do sadhana. It is not that easy to think of matter there. To think of sense gratification, you have to struggle hard. Here in this material body, to think of devotional service, you have to struggle hard, right? So, and when a person performs devotional service constantly and consistently for a long period of time, it is not that one day I do devotional service, like next day it will become I'll become a nice devotee. Now, this Satata Yukta is always been mentioned in the scriptures. Why? Because when we constantly be engaged in devotional service, the matter transforms into spirit. As like Prabhupada mentions, that iron rod kept on fire, it acquires the property of fire. So in the same way, the matter has its natural, natural orientation towards sense gratification and inspiring towards sense gratification and things like that. But if this matter is constantly kept in the fire of devotional service, this matter also will inspire service. This body, that is used. That is why we tell that the spiritual master's body is transcendental. It is spiritual. Why we say that? It is made of the same matter because it is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. So it becomes surcharged. It is now spiritual. Though it may appear like matter, but for all practical purposes, it will work like spirit. So that is the amazing thing. Because it has been constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, it has acquired the spiritual properties. Now it is like as good as spirit only, right? So externally it is matter, just like an iron rod. It is iron rod only, but then for all practical purposes, it works like fire. When it is constantly kept in the fire, right? So that is the way it is. Matter is always the matter, but then because of constant association with the spirit, so it acquires the qualities of spirit, and it is spiritual. It is spiritualized. It is called as spiritualized. Right? So the matter can be spiritualized. So in this way, we see that we become afraid of matter because the matter has its intrinsic quality of inspiring sense gratification. And we also have our vasanas. We have been engaged with matter and exploiting the matter as a Purusha, and we have been enjoyers of the matter since many lifetimes. So that natural tendency is there to exploit nature, exploit the matter. So that is why, like, we should be little careful. And if there is a particular service that has been ordained, so now we have to pluck flowers, which is a matter, and we have to offer it to the Lord, and then we have to smell, the smell that is coming from the flower. So that is called devotional service. So where is spirit in this whole thing? No, it's all matter only involved. So, but then because it is an instruction given by a transcendental personality like Supreme Lord, so then patram pushpam phalam toyam. Right, so he has given this thing, instruction. When I follow that, even though all the transaction that is happening is with matter, it is called spiritual, and it will have the effect of spirit. It will inspire service. It will purify us. All these things will happen. So, like, matter has to be used, according to the instruction, according to the direction that has been given. So then it acts as spirit, right? And now here it is mentioned, Bhoktaram Eknatapasham Sarvalokam Maheshwaram. So the Lord is the actual enjoyer, and we are supposed to be enjoyed, and all the material things that are there, everything is supposed to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. So therefore, everything should be dovetailed for His enjoyment and service. Regardless of one's circumstance, favorable or unfavorable, one should use everything to serve the Supreme Lord. That is the perfect way to use one's intelligence. So the key thing, we may be doing so many different varieties of activities, but we should know the key principle from where we should not shake, from where we should not, there's a hilna nahi chahiye. What is the most important thing? Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, and everything that exists is part and parcel. And the parts and parcels' original position is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is the key and core principle. So anywhere we get confused, we again come back to the root equation. This is the root of everything. So we come back to this root equation, and then we say, okay, fine. Whatever may happen, I should not detach myself from the Lord. So detaching myself from the Lord means what? It is like detaching myself from the service of the Lord, right? So now, for example, if somebody has a relationship with a company, so what is the relationship? He's an employee. If somebody says, see, we are not asking you to go out of the company, we cannot give you any salary, and we cannot give you any task to perform. निकाल ही दिया. So you can come and you can sit in the company, you can do something. अरे काम से निकाल दिया. अभी क्या बोल रहा है? आके बैठो. So like that, we can hang around in the temple, but you don't have any service. Means मतलब तो भगवान से निकाल दिए. So the service for a servant. What is the meaning of a servant without service? So what is we don't have any relationship with the Lord if we don't have a bona fide service to execute. So it's a very, very important thing. Without service, we don't have any connection to the Lord. So we should never give up this particular thing. So that is why this is very nicely mentioned. Therefore, everything should be dovetailed, for the enjoyment of the Lord. Whether the circumstance is favorable or unfavorable, one should use everything to serve the Supreme Lord. So this is the core aspect. This is the core principle. And if this is kept, and everything else goes for toss, it's perfectly okay. But this cannot be shaken. We should always be engaged in some service of the Lord. Right. So with this, I pause today's discussion. Any questions or comments you can take? Okay. So no questions. Some devotees can share. Yeah. So, Arjuna's definitely Krishna's instruction should be followed, but Krishna himself says that you should follow your elder brother also. No, you should use your intelligence to follow both. So, क्या करे हमारा भगवान बहुत टेढ़ा है. If the Lord would have told, no, see, I'm the boss, I've told, no, you just follow. It would have been easy for Arjuna to follow. But he doesn't tell like that. you follow your spiritual master, and then no, you should please the Vaishnavas also, and you should follow my instruction also. And it becomes very difficult for the devotee. No, he has to become intelligent, otherwise he cannot survive. And then intelligence will be supplied by the Lord. No? So because Lord's desire is there, no, it's not that. Another important thing that we need to know also, whatever the Lord expresses, no, it is not the final, no, this one. Like for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, if you see, in the beginning, Lord expressed that you fight, no, because you will get enjoyment, no, in this world, and if you die, you will go to heaven. So we cannot take that statement very seriously. That's an intermediate statement actually. So ultimate statement of Krishna is what? No, that is very important. And that conclusion, no, we should take, and also the conclusion that is offered by the previous acharyas, no, what they give, no, that is to be taken. So that is why Krishna, to understand directly, sometimes it's very difficult. No, that's why we should follow the conclusion of the great liberated personalities and the like acharyas. No, so that is why like one equation always we used to solve is that Krishna was fighting with this one Chanur and Mushrik. No, they were giving pleasure to him by fighting, but that is not considered devotional service. And Yashoda Maya put Krishna down to put off the stove, and Krishna was visibly angry, but it is called devotional service. How we actually get to this point? So the point is Anushilanam. We have to follow in the footsteps of the established devotees and the great acharyas. How they perform devotional service, and that is the way we should perform. It is not even about giving pleasure to Krishna. Sometimes giving displeasure to Krishna is also devotional service. And how it is. So we need to know, like following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, the spiritual master. So in that case, for Archana to follow Yudhishthira is very important, because what he knows about Krishna, better than that, Yudhishthira knows. So that is why the confusion is even more there. So directly Krishna is telling something, but then the Krishna's representative is telling something. Did I understood Krishna properly or not? No. So that is a question that arises there. No. So it is very important to consider all the aspects. And Krishna is saying that Krishna is not deprecating his devotees at any time. If devotee says something, if Krishna says something like, no, my devotee has told, like, no, you should follow that only. You give up this. Right? So sometimes Krishna takes off his own position just to glorify his devotees. He never puts the devotees down actually. So like this, it's a complex equation actually. So one needs to have proper intelligence and with a sincere desire to please the Lord and serve the Lord, and then begging for the direction from the Lord. And the Lord is very merciful. He will give the direction appropriately. Right? So like that is why this process cannot be a final conclusion cannot be brought just by the rules and regulations. So it is something more than the rules and regulations, something that needs to be like only a sincere practitioner can crack this exam. Nobody else can crack this exam. It's like so tough the question is. Only a very, very sincere practitioner can crack the exam. Other people, everybody else also feels that they have cracked the exam, but then they have failed. So only a sincere practitioner can crack the exam. So that is why all this stuff, this one is there. By pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo. Like you can try any means. You can be like the expert in the scriptures, but still you cannot crack the exam, because like this is something beyond that. So sincerity in the practice is very, very essential in this one. Arjuna was a very sincere devotee. Like he could understand all these things, and he could be able to do something which pleases Krishna, which pleases Yudhishthira also. We'll close the session today. Antraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Krishna.
So let us thank His Grace Arishad for such a wonderful class by chanting Hare Krishna.